you don't have faith in yourself to begin with, nobody's gonna believe you. I can completely remember the time where my life took a big turn when I started treating myself as a CEO of my own life, as my own company. So we've been going through the 17 Key to Success by Napoleon Hill. The first key was definiteness of purpose. The second key is mastermind. The third key now is apply faith. Well, for those of you who don't know what faith is, I don't really have a technical definition of faith, but it's pretty much like you have to go out on the limb. Like you have to, it's more than believing. Like you have to put energy into the thing you believe. Like you have faith that Jesus will heal. Some people believe Jesus heal, but there are people that have faith of his healing. I don't know why it got biblical, but yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. So apply faith, like apply faith. You have to apply faith to yourself. That's the third most important part. So after you found your definiteness of purpose, for me, it was being a chef, being a private chef for the 0.0001%, being the private chef there, and being this talking head podcast type chef that's not really out there. So I have a mastermind group. I have my coach. I have Laurel. I have my business mentor, Kitty. I have Fred, who physically helped me, and on and on and on. So I have a mastermind group, and now I have to apply faith. I have to be the person that has to believe that I can do it. I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. They need other people to have faith in them. But if you don't have faith in yourself to begin with, nobody's gonna believe you. Like nobody's gonna have faith in you. So I think apply faith, if you kind of put it in like a more modern term, maybe it's believing in yourself. Self-confident, no, it's beyond self-confidence, because first of all, self-confident is not something that you're born with. I'm not born with self-confidence. I seem social. I seem friendly, but at the end of the day, I like to spend time myself. I really value my alone time. I learned about solitude, and now it takes a lot of energy for me to actually socialize with people and actually, talk to people. Even like now, like it takes a lot of energy for me to sit down and just kind of chop it up. I have to have enough faith in myself that I can actually make a living with my voice. I have to have faith that my life is interesting enough that people would be interested enough to come and be a part of it, like yourself listening to me right now or watching me. So yeah, if I do not believe myself, if I do not apply faith in those things, those are my purpose, no one else will come and inject faith in you. Like it's not like us and our kids, like we go and say, yeah, you go, I believe in you, I trust you. Like nobody did that for me. I mean, I guess in some sense nobody ever does that for me. I have to develop this faith in myself that I can get up today and I can use the tools that I have gathered to get better, a little bit better than yesterday. I don't have to be dramatically better. I have to be 1% better. Just a little bit, just incremental, small little incremental change yields big difference. Believing in yourself is so crucial to being successful, no matter where you're at. But this morning, I was listening to Mel Robbins' book, The High Five Habits, which she has a podcast called The Mel Robbins Show. And Rick is speaking about this process of creating, and I can only see him in his bus studio, working with all the other artists and just encouraging them to create, to pour their hearts out and to be who they are. So now I have these two in my mind constantly. It really pushes me in this creative act. So with my applied faith, things comes along. So back to Mel Robbins, she was talking about how the way she became a life coach was that her and her husband was neck deep into this personal development thing. I mean, I think anybody that get into the personal development thing just kind of get into the same rabbit hole. I mean, I went into the same rabbit hole. I was listening to the same book. I was watching the same seminars, and I was listening to her stuff. So she was going through this personal development journey, and then they went to a seminar where Oprah's life coach came on to stage. She was saying how you don't need to have a certificate. You've spent so many years in this scene and soak up so many books. You are an expert in personal development. So when she was telling, when someone asked her, hey, so what do you do? Mel said, I'm a life coach. And the guy just kind of looked at her like, just crickets. Oh, where's my crickets? Oh. Yeah. And Mel was like, oh shit, what is he thinking about? Is he thinking that, what the fuck is a life coach? Like, who is this lady? Like, is she like a scam? Like, she was like, if I would have had a certificate from Staples to prove that I'm a life coach, she would have just pulled it out and showed it to him. But little did she know, in that moment, her insecurity was reflecting off of this man in this moment of silence. But what he was thinking is that, well, what is life coach? Can I do as a life coach? Like, he is genuinely intrigued about what a life coach is. And she was like, well, I help professional people figure it out, their problems. And the lady was like, well, I think he can use your services. The first person to ask her what she did, that person became her first client. Okay, so she had to apply a lot of faith into what she was doing. She had gotten confirmation by a professional saying, hey, you know what, I do what you think, I do what you aspire to do, and I think you can do a great job because you have probably more knowledge than most. That's like when another chef call you a chef, you're a chef. Okay, just to put it out there, chefs. To me, if you're cooking, if you're feeding people, you're a chef. If you're helping put a meal together, you're a chef. You have to apply faith into yourself in order for other to take you to have faith in you. You have to take yourself seriously in order for others to take you seriously. Like, that's really important. Like, I can completely remember the time where how my life took a big turn when I started treating myself as a CEO of my own life, as my own company. I started to respect myself. I started to make decision as a CEO of my own life. And I started to treat my life this certain way that I feel that I should live, where I'm in harmony, just completely being myself, being the leader of myself, then the people around me can start getting used to me the way I am. Like roses have thorns, right? And that's how I look at that's how I see my wife. My wife is beautiful. I love her, and she's beautiful as a person. She's beautiful as physically. I love my wife, but roses have thorns, and I cannot appreciate her beauty without also appreciating the thorn, the edges that I might not seem to be super fond of. So when you apply that kind of love to yourself, the self-love, to become who you are, to allow yourself to just wake up in the morning, do the things you want to do, earn a living with the talents that you have a good balance of family, work, and personal life, a physical, active life, a space for quietness and reflection, and genuinely feel a great contribution to society. I think that's a pretty good way to describe how I thrive to be as a person. And I think the apply faith part, the belief that I can do not just one but all of those things, is incredible. It's out of this world. Like the amount of faith, the tons of faith that I have to put into myself in order for me to get ounces of results. It's enormous. Right? See, so if you look yourself in the mirror, okay, which I do not, I have a really, really hard time doing, and I have a really, really hard time sustaining eye contact with people. But if you look into yourself, and you cannot truly have the faith that the person looking at you in the mirror that can take care of you and your family and your situation or whatever, you need to figure it out how to change that person and no one else.
And now, a quick break. We hope you're enjoying this episode of The Art of Chef. If you're listening to us on your podcast app, we want to invite you to watch these episodes again on our YouTube channel. This is a completely different entertainment experience. Especially during our guest interviews, we love to spice things up with GIFs and other visuals that really bring the episodes to life. So don't be a stranger. Subscribe to The Art of Chef on YouTube and download episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
I had to change the person in the mirror from the person that was fat, the person that was lost, the person that had bad teeth, the person that just didn't give a fuck about life, to now where I value every day because just how precious this life is and how easily it can be taken away, to how I believe that I can be one of the most unique point of view in human, the population of 8 billion. How I believe that I'm going to build a family and hopefully a legacy where I not only benefit my immediate family, but just my extended family, my tribe, like yourself, and to believe that I can actually have a family where my spouse feels supported, my parents feel taken care of, and my kids feel that I love them and I believe in them. I think just with all of those things, ever since I applied the faith in me believing that I can do all of those things, other people started to apply their faith in me as well. Like, I think the more I go through these material about the keys of success, I think it's really coming to me where being clear of who you are and what you're here to do, and if you can find like-minded people like you listening to me, and which is, thank you so much for doing that. And when you apply faith into what you want to do and who you want to become, those minds that you've connected starts to give you that energy of faith. And you don't need much. You just need a little bit of faith from one person, and then another person give you a little bit of faith, and when other people, and faith maybe is one of those things that you also attract. Once you have applied faith, once someone started to believe in something, having faith in something, that thing will attract more people with faith, the same faith frequency. But I don't know how to better explain to you what applied faith is. I can only demonstrate to you through my life what applying faith in myself looks like. So when I was 30 years old, 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago, I was 300 pounds and single, working in a corporate job that I was not happy with, that I depended on, that was stressful, and I did a lot of emotional eating, and I did a lot of just video gaming, unplugging from the world, didn't really care, lived life on the edge, riding motorcycle, just doing the things, being in debt, because you never know if tomorrow's gonna come, and you play for closer and closer to the edge to make sure that tomorrow might not come. And then something miraculously happened. I met my wife, and she applied a little bit of faith in me, and I saw some results. Like, she can see that I was in financial problem. I was in the negatives, and she got me to help me. She helped me to get to zero to positive not by giving me money, but giving me the opportunity. Like, she allowed me to stay in her condo for free with her while I put money towards my debt. And I saw that, hey, wait a minute, I can get out of debt. I can snowball my debt. And then I was out of debt. Then with that little bit, I started believing in myself. Chef Michael showed me that I can have a healthy habit with exercise and limiting what I eat. I saw some results, and then he applied faith in me, and I applied faith in myself, and I look at here I am, about 200 pounds. not full of muscle, but not full of fat either. And then I went and cooked for my boss when I wasn't ready, and he applied a little bit of faith in me. And that really took off. And for years, I really just kind of held on to that faith that he has in me, that I'm going to be a great chef for him. But then in my mind, I was just like, oh, I'm just a dishwasher. I'm just a dishwasher. I'm just a housewife cook. And I never really wanted to apply myself to more because I cannot see getting help for what I do. Like I just couldn't see it. So for years I was doing it by myself, struggling. I mean, I went from working with teams of people to by myself. I went from ordering stuff that gets delivered, someone cleans it, preps it, puts it away, cook it, put it out. Someone washes the dishes, yada yada yada. To me having to decide what to make for them, where to buy the food, how to get the food, prep the food, clean the food, wash the dishes, serve for years. So I went from no physical labor to back to all physical labor. It's not for a lot of people, but guess what? Every day it fucking sucks. So then here comes my wife again, injecting a little bit of faith in me, because I always tell people, yeah, I'm just a dishwasher. Like if you heard the pod with Jeff, he was saying, yeah, the first time he met me, met me as like a really high paying dishwasher. And that's why I tell people I'm the most expensive dishwasher in the world. Period. And she said that doesn't sound good. That's not what you do. And you need to stop telling people that. For me, it's like, hey, it's like a sarcastic but real true thing. But okay. So I have to start telling people that I'm a private chef. And then the question always comes is like, well, who do you cook for? I said, I can't tell you. Where do you cook? I cook at their house. Like, how many people? I cook for 4 people. And they're like, that's it? I said, yeah. And these days I have help. I have a pastry chef. I call him the sous, but Fred, he is the chef. And when I tell people that I'm a private chef, they have this like, what is it that you do? See, the same moment as the Mel Robin when she described in her book, like my insecurity starts to reflect into someone else when they ask me, well, what is that? And I have to get through those questions. Like those questions are not, they're not the question. They're not to judge me. They're just questions from people, because to be honest, nobody really hears anybody does private chefing. And when they think of a private chef, they think of a personal chef. See, a personal chef cooks for a bunch of people. Like they have multiple clients. They're pretty much a caterer. That's personal chef. Private chef is that you cook for one people, no one else. You cook privately for them. That's how I define it. So if you guys want to define it any other way, go for it. But that's how I think about it. And so I only cook for one family, and I've been doing it for 14 years. And then people just fucking loses it, right? Or there's people like, I used to try to be even more, be humble. Then I'll be like, I cook. And they're like, where do you cook? I said, which restaurant? I said, I cook at someone's house. They're like, oh, well, whose house? I said, I can't tell you. And so, like, those questions to me sounded like judgy questions. But now, when I see myself as that private chef and apply faith into becoming this private chef, and now that I've actually became this private chef where I cook for the 0.00001%, and I can have a net worth over multiple $1 billion at once at my tables, at my table, my client's table. See, they're not. But anyway, in order for me to be here, I have to have. My wife had to apply the faith in me. She was like, stop telling people that you're a dishwasher. Tell them that you're a private chef. And I was jamming on an event. At the time, it was like COVID. That was a couple of years ago, a year, 2 years ago. It was COVID. It was still locked down. So I was just busy doing stuff for my clients still because they're not going out. So I had a party and I was like, that was the moment. That was the moment where my wife again stepped in and said, hey, you know what? Do you think that you want to ask Fred to be your sous for the event? Since you've gone and helped him before. I was like, well, I would never call him my sous. You know, he's like, I've always kind of worked with him. But okay, so I reached out to him and asked him, and just with that mindset that I was having him come to be my sidekick versus like to be the person, like that little bit of faith applied on me, I yield results of getting Fred's help, and I apply even more faith to believe that I can continually use this help to benefit my clients. So I asked him if I can have his help more constantly. And then when the next challenge came where we had to do a sit down where we really want to provide service, because I read the book Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Durant, I think. Durant. He was talking about how he had the #1 restaurant in the world and how stressful it is, but how to elevate his restaurant. So I want to have the #1 restaurant in the area where I'm at, which in the town there's no business. So yes, it's impossible off of the get-go because I really can't. I don't think I won't get a James Beard for what I do. I'll never get a Michelin star for what I do because it's not public. It's private. So hopefully you can see what that little bit of applied faith does to a person and how it's thrive. And now that you're listening to me, you also apply faith in me because I apply faith in myself that I can do a podcast and just chop it up and find people, like-minded people to join my tribe and so that I can share with you. So I applied that little bit of faith in myself because someone like Ricky Perfection applied a little bit of faith in me. And now those little bits of faith, now what you see, what you hear is what all those little tiny bits of faith did for me. And it all begins with, someone applying a little bit of faith in you and you taking that little bit of faith and let that grow and have that faith in yourself, and that faith in yourself is going to attract more people having more faith in you and support you. So yeah, that took a while for me to get the thought out of my mind. But I think that was a pretty good explanation. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Shoot me, contact me anyway. So yeah, 17 keys to success. This is key number 3. Number 1 is definiteness of purpose. Number 2 is mastermind. Number 3 is apply faith. So the next one is going the extra mile. This one is super key. Thank you so much that you guys are still here. I hope to see you in the next pod. I love you. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I'm struggling with you right alongside. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you have a fabulous, wonderful weekend, wonderful day. Peace.
Thanks for joining us today. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, it only takes a moment to post a positive rating and review. Your support allows us to grow the community and reach more extraordinary people just like you. And come check out the Art of Chef YouTube channel on your next lunch break. We'd love to see you there. Thanks again for listening. See you in the next episode.